Welcome back to the YouTube page. Welcome everybody. Today's post is about shame. And we're going to talk about shame in a manner you might not have once thought. But shame is incredibly important for your spiritual journey. Oftentimes people ask about, what direction should I go in? God, give me a sign. And God will send, the floaty, God will send the boat, God will send a plane, and you'll say, God, just give me a sign. Well, God coincidentally built signs internally. So now you have signs inside of you so that you understand where you're at in life and maybe how you should get back in order. Because provision spiritually is about alignment. And alignment is based off of your action. This is why the Bible says we wrestle not with flesh and blood, but with principalities, high places. Okay, so meaning, and if you've ever wrestled in your life or know a wrestler, and I'm not talking about WWE or WWF, I'm talking about like actual wrestling, where they grapple and they do the takedowns and stuff like that. I've never wrestled, I boxed, but it's all about position. You have to position yourself correctly in order to get a choke out or tap somebody out or pin somebody correctly. And in boxing, if you want to get out of the zone, you have to get in position, like move your feet. Okay, so there's a saying, if God gave you the perfect man or the perfect woman that you've dreamed about forever, that this is the type of person that you want. He could be, tall, dark, handsome. This woman could be, whatever type of woman, whatever is perfect for you, mind, body, and soul. If God gave you the perfect person for you romantically, are you in position to receive this person right now, as your life is right now? And more than likely, it's not. You're not. But let's talk about shame. What is shame? Okay, what is shame? Because shame is very, very important. It's important to me. It's important to you. Everything that God created in his image, it's important, okay? Because we have the free will in order to experience this thing called shame. Now, shame, the word shame, it means painful feeling of guilt. It also means disgraced. You are disgraced. If you are experiencing shame, it means you are also disgraced. Now, where have we heard that word before? Disgraced. The word disgraced, it means outside of grace. Disgraced. D-I-S, it means out. Disgrace means outside of grace. Well, what does outside of grace mean? What is grace? Well, the word grace, it means God's unmerited love and favor. God's unmerited love and favor. So they say, patience is a virtue. Well, patience is part of grace, but grace is actually delivered by the angelic being called virtue. And you know that you have grace when you are humble naturally, like when it's a natural occurrence, when you're not, or excuse me, when you're humble, when you're modest, when you, when you have joy, when you have compassion, like that's grace, and it's delivered by an angelic being called virtue. That's why they say patience is a virtue. Joy is also a virtue. Grace is a virtue. So with that being said, grace is God's protection. Grace is when you understand God is protecting you. So, fast forwarding, okay, shame, when you experience shame, it's always internal. It is never from the outside. Another person cannot shame you. They can condemn you. That does not mean shame. Okay. Now let me look it up right now. What does the word condemn mean? Condemn. Condemn, it means to blame, pronounce judgment. So if you stole my pencil, if you stole my pencil and I saw you from far away, I walk up to you and I say, you stole my pencil. I'm blaming you. That's called condemnation. I'm condemning you. I'm placing judgment. I've pronounced judgment, okay? But shame is when you feel the feeling of judge or of being judged, okay? And even though I told you that you stole my pencil, you have to understand that it's wrong to do that. That's where shame comes in. Shame is when you understand that it's also wrong. It's the painful guilt. It's the painful feeling that you're guilty. If you know that you're guilty and you don't experience any pain, guess what? You are not shameful. Okay? You gotta look at the process here. So when you are, what other places or events can you experience shame? Well, you experience shame when you are not operating in your purpose, and because we are made in the image of God, oftentimes we have, all the time we have purpose. And if there is a design, that design indicates purpose. So I have a coffee mug or a mug. Okay, there's coffee in here right now, but this mug right here, it's designed a certain way. There's a handle, it's empty on the inside. It's tapered out a little bit. It even has a unique color, I wasn't going to get a drink, but now I had to. So what ends up happening is this cup has a design. The design of that cup, the mug, indicates purpose. So because we are not a cup, we have to discover our purpose. We're not able to be born understanding our purpose. But discovering your purpose it's a very wonderful experience. It really is. You get to enact creativity over and over and over and over until something clicks and you're like, oh wow, this is it. Okay. So, and let me just give you a side note. So human beings, to have your purpose, you need the 3 C's. Okay, the 3 C's. Okay, it's connection. So you need to be connected to other human beings. You need to contribute to other human beings. So you need to, contribute, and you need to exercise your creativity. So connection, contribution, and creativity. If you don't have all 3 of those things, it's not your purpose. Okay. Now, why do you experience shame when you're not in your purpose? Well, if you're not in your purpose, like this cup, okay, if this cup was a human being, but it was designed as a cup, if I if I use this cup to um, to clean my windshield on my car, just a cup, right? I use this cup to clean the windshield on my car. It's not designed to do that. It's not designed to clean windows at all. But if I do that, and if the cup was a human, okay, just bear with me. If the cup was a human, what would end up happening is it would feel shame. It will be ashamed. It will feel disgraced. Because why would, like, God designed us for a reason. And if we are doing something so foolish outside of that, you most certainly will experience shame. But it's internal. Shame is internal. You understand. You understand that this is not what you're supposed to do. This is guilt. You're supposed to you're naturally supposed to feel guilt. Now, unfortunately, a lot of people, especially online, on TikTok, on Instagram, YouTube, you see a lot of very physically attractive women, a lot of very physically attractive men, and they're up online, they're doing these sexually charged dances, they're twerking, they're the men have their chest oiled up and stuff like that, and what's end up happening is they don't experience shame. They don't think what they're doing is wrong. Okay? They don't think what they're doing is wrong. This is what we call shameless. Okay? This is what we call shameless. And there's a word for that. It's called incorrigible. The word incorrigible means shameless. It also means unable to be reformed. So if you cannot detect that you are guilty, and it's painful, the painful feeling of guilt, shame, if you can't detect that, you are incorrigible. But another thing happens when you can't detect shame. You 100% become the person that corrects everybody else. Because since you can't be corrected, you then become the person that corrects everybody else. This is when you turn into the person that gossips. And gossiping is a sin. Okay? Why is gossiping a sin? Gossiping is a sin because it tells, or you team up with somebody else to supercharge a curse against another human being. That's why gossiping is a sin. Your words have so much power. Your words have so much power. Mind your manners. Your words have so much power. The Bible says loose lips are the devil's mouthpiece. Why does it say that? Well, it says that because if you are not verifying what the words that are coming out of your mouth, more than likely you're going to place curses on somebody else. This is why, many people place curses and don't even know it, because you think that your intention outweighs the design, and it never will. It never will. Okay, the intention of if the cup that is cleaning my windshield, it might have good intentions to make sure that I drive safe, but what it did, it just broke my windshield, because a cup's not designed to do that. It's designed to hold liquid. So, incorrigible. This is where you are unable to be corrected. And a person who is unable to be corrected becomes the walking correction. You want to correct everybody, and you then become self-absorbed. Everything must be about you. It's kind of crazy watching this pattern flow out from like children on up. It's insane to watch. But don't worry, guys. Okay, I have resources for you in the description below. Okay, so go ahead and check them out. But the resource for this post that might benefit you the most is the mini course for you mastering your imagination. So the Mastering the Imagination for Empaths mini course, that's my highest recommendation for you. Why? Because if you don't master your mind, you then fall victim to the highest level of confusion, which is called apathy. And being apathetic is when you lose the connection of that guilty feeling when you understand that you're guilty of something. So apathy is when you are unable to feel something, and it's a spiritual thing. There are 3 levels to confusion. It's ignorance, which is you just don't know something. 1 + 1 is 15. Okay. The second level is misunderstanding. This is when I thought that my cup was designed to clean my window. That's called a misunderstanding. And the highest level is apathy, or being apathetic. So mastering your mind, that mini course, it 100% will help you. It will help you. And not just in shame, but with all areas of your life. When emotions are taking over you, you need to master your mind, or the emotions will become your leader, and then you'll make foolish decisions. You'll buy that house with a 50% interest rate. You'll get married to a woman who who is a drug addict and who does not have a business mindset, who has 15 kids. Like, okay. And I'm not condemning those type of women, but we all make choices, and some choices oftentimes are not able to be reversed. There are men with 15 kids. Those men are not high value. Okay. Anyway, the next resource I have for you is the ebook A Peace Called Love. This is your step by step, well, not step by step. It's a guide to redirect you spiritually in the correct direction. Okay? But let me know in the comment section, do you know anybody who is incorrigible? And if so, how have you dealt with it? Oh, and one last thing, you can always book a one-on-one consult with me, okay? I do enjoy speaking to people one-on-one. I love it, okay? So it's down in the comments, in the description. Please don't be shy. I'm a lot more welcoming than maybe you might think. All right? If you didn't know, now you know.